What's up, fellas? Today I want to talk about how to not give a fuck much, right? How to reduce the amount of fucks that you give, how to regulate how much care you give. You know that there's really going to be three spaces in your life where you do this. You'll be socially, your social life, dating, and in your professional life. Now, to not give a fuck, fundamentally, you have to be okay with being alone. You really have to be okay with being alone. It doesn't come easy for a human being to want to be alone. We are social creatures. It is our natural essence to want to have companionship. So I sit with a lot of furry friends. It's our natural essence, right? You kind of always want to have companionship, or you're drawn to having people around you and stuff like that. So it is our natural essence to want to be alone. I'll start with dating, right? One of the easiest ways to not give a fuck while you're dating is to first of all be comfortable with being alone, being by yourself. This is something you have to have already nurtured within you beforehand, before you got into a relationship long term, or before you even wanted to be with any type of partner or sort. So yeah, you'll be comfortable with being by yourself, being alone. If that's hard, then, and that can be hard, right? Because like I said earlier, it's our natural essence to want to have company, to want to have, a partner, companion, something like that. We are creatures of what? So we are social creatures. Sorry, my bad. If that's hard, then I believe the other way is you have to continuously want to improve your sexual market value. Like all the time, you have to want to improve your sex. You have to be working toward improving your sexual market value all the time, relentlessly. I'm talking, if you have 6-pack abs, work on getting 8-pack abs. If you have 20 inch arms, work on getting 21 inch arms, type of thing. You have to keep working on improving your sexual market value, your SMV. Because if you do that, then you won't really be, you get choosing signals, right? Choosing signals are, you're in a social gathering and you get glares from let me say the opposite sex, finding you attractive consistently. I'm not saying someone looks at you at a distance and you go across the whole room diving through this crowd of people and everything, and then you reach there and you're this weirdo, this creep that could not read a room, that people's eyes just glance. But I'm talking, you're chilling at the counter, whatever the bar, and you catch this lady, find this señorita looking at you, and you maybe you mind your own business after that, and then let me say 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, you glance back at her, and somehow if she was 10 stools away from you, she's somehow like 4 stools away from you. And still kind of giggling and smiling. If she has friends with her, they are as a group seemingly talking about you or looking in your general direction. I would genuinely consider that as a choosing signal. That's a good sign, right? So if you see that consistently every single time that you go out, every single time you're at social gatherings, whatever it is, it can be a work event, you can be at work, and one moment there is this girl that does not give you the time of day, the next moment almost every girl in that beach wants to talk to you, and this one person that wasn't giving you the time of day all of a sudden finds you interesting. You're the same guy, maybe with a little bigger arms, maybe you can speak a little more confidently because you've been reading. You can express yourself well because maybe you've been listening to podcasts. Whatever it is, right? Whatever good habits that you have been doing for yourself consistently to improve yourself. That is you improving your market value as a whole. So yeah, that is, in my opinion, the easiest way to not give a fuck long term, to consistently want to improve your SMV. Then professionally, I would say you would have to have a high demand skill. Say if you are a nurse, right? I don't even say a doctor, a nurse. There's plenty of hospitals and they are still making hospitals, right? They're never going to stop making hospitals. You're a nurse and you have this overbearing boss, right? this overbearing manager that keeps micromanaging you, chewing your ass out every single time, trying to ask you the most random shit. You can, a situation at work where somebody can ask about something that everyone else has the responsibility to handle, and it was not directly given to you, right? It wasn't delegated to you to handle, but this person seemingly singles you out to do this thing all the time. That's being overbearing. That's micromanaging. You get, we are old, not old, but like old, 25, 20. You're able to manage yourself, right? You don't need to be micromanaged. Unless you're in a sweatshop. Again, I don't even want to imagine the horrors happening in there. I'm looking at you up. Anyway, if you're a nurse and you're in a situation like that with an overbearing boss, but you have your certificate, right? You're not going to really take all that for a long period of time, unless there is something external keeping you at the job, let me say benefits or whatever. But if you have the certification, you can get those benefits elsewhere anytime that you want. It becomes easier to switch jobs, opposed to being say bricklayer. No offense to bricklayers, but there is not enough variety in terms of the demand for a bricklaying work, right? Unless you're the owner of a bricklaying organization where you have multiple people laying bricks for you, and then you're hired to distribute bricks, then it makes sense. But if you're the actual person laying the bricks, like making the bricks, you're smoking them, and then you're getting them out of the tube that they're in, and then putting them out to dry, there is not much. You don't have a huge pool to like get work from, right? Work comes as and when your boss requires it, and you basically are praying that your boss is required work from on a consistent basis. But if you're a bricklayer, you do not have a high demand skill, so then your ability to give a fuck is greatly reduced. Your ability to not give a fuck is greatly reduced. You have to basically keep looking over your shoulder like a fugitive, right? You're an escaped convict, and you're looking over your shoulder no matter where you go. You always feel like someone is watching you, that kind of thing. So the same thing with professionally. If you don't have a high value skill, you're going to hustle. You are genuinely going to always hustle. And I'm even looking at guys that did irrelevant courses in college, right? You did, let me say, hospitality let's say you did hospitality. Like, man, get real. The demand for hospitality is not there. It's 2025. There is almost zero demand for hospitality like that. Anybody and their mom can go to a restaurant, to a hospital, to a hotel, and do a 2-month course on hospitality that the hotel offers, while you spent your student loan money, whatever, 5 million shillings, and got a loan to do a course that you're looking for work for 3 years. You take a lot of shit because no one can give you work consistently, because you're easily replaceable. So you then have to give so many facts at that time. It becomes hard for you to focus, to really build yourself, because you're always looking over your shoulder. You don't want to be in a situation where you're always looking over your shoulder. You want to have contingencies. That's what it comes down to. You have to have contingencies, and contingencies that have shown you previous proof of working for you, for yourself, on a consistent basis. I'm not talking about one time where we had COVID and your contingency just so happened to work because you are not actively spending money on other bills and stuff like that. Maybe even moved back to your parents' house, but now we're out of COVID and you think the same contingency is going to work for you on your low-level skill. That's not realistic. That is 100% not realistic. At church, we're talking about how to make good business over the weekend, because we have a business program and a business panel. And man, the work of God is very, 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 very expensive at times, right? You can have seminars and conferences that are up country, and you want to be able to go, but you don't want to burden your flock with having to contribute money for you. So you have to have your own work, and sometimes you're dealing with full-time pastors. So obviously, we may not know what you're doing in detail for work, but hopefully it's legal, right? But you have to have a consistent source of income that is in high demand. Okay, to have a consistent source of income, you have a high demand skill. So in that sense, you don't really give a fuck. They tell you have a seminar or a conference in Nigeria, and you're a pastor from UG. You'll easily move because you have the means. You don't really give a fuck. You're like, I can manage, I can handle it, I can go. That type of thing. So it generally always will help you. It will always. Sorry, my phone had warned there about low battery. It will help you to have high value skills, high demand skills, to be able to put yourself in a position of leverage. When you have leverage, you give much less fucks when you have leverage. It helps you a lot when you have leverage. That's what not giving a fuck comes down to. And people think to not give a fuck, you just dismiss things and all that. No, you have to actually care enough about something to be so successful in it, so that you have the leverage to not give a fuck about things that are not worth giving a fuck about. I know I've quoted some book. What book is that? The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck says something about that. That's how it works today. You have to care enough about something for you then to have leverage over not caring about other things that are not worth caring about. Basically, control what you have control over, and let what you don't have control over handle itself. Because you don't have control over it, it's going to happen regardless of whether you lift a finger or not. So you have to keep moving, right? That's why you don't give a fuck, right? Like the video, share the video, comment, subscribe. I'll get back to you guys later.